Welcome back to A Little Bit of Cheese, your daily bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast. I'm your host, Cody Depius, and we're going to try to get through another day here of Brewers baseball. This is, it was a tough game to watch yesterday. As most of you probably know, the final score for Brewers against the Mets had New York taking that one 8-4. That was the final where Milwaukee had a 2-0 lead to start out the game. Ended up losing that 3-2, ended up regaining the lead 4-3, and then Freddie Peralta was pulled after 4 innings of work. He had just 68 pitches. There's a lot of controversy behind that decision, which there's, of course, Pat Murphy. I like how he is very articulate when he talks about as to why he pulled Freddie Peralta, but a lot of people are angry. They say that's your ace. He should be out there. He only had 68 pitches. And he had retired 9 straight at that point, which I definitely understand. Yeah, that would make sense to leave your pitcher out there, considering that he's on a roll. He's considered what is your ace, and that's where you wanted to go. And Murphy came out, and he said that Freddie was probably 18 or 20 pitches away from that cliff that he kind of falls off at the end of games or at the end of his outings, because he doesn't pitch that deep into games, which people seem to forget. After he was pulled after these 4 innings, his ERA when it gets to the 5th inning is over 7. So, and you can make it a feeling, a vibe, where I felt with Freddie Peralta throughout that start yesterday. I was a little surprised when they pulled. I was actually quite surprised when they pulled him going into the 5th inning, but I was not feeling comfortable with Freddie Peralta. I was happy that we had a lead once again, and I think that's kind of where Pat Murphy was too, and that's kind of how he explained it. He said we got the lead back, and we have one of the best bullpens in all of baseball, so we gave the ball to our bullpen. So that's where he was. Freddie pitched well enough to come out of the game where the Brewers had the lead. I said that yesterday. I said that was going to be part of the plan. I didn't think it was going to be as early as it was, but it was. And I'm okay with it. I'm going to defend the manager. It's not his fault that this lead was lost for Milwaukee. Last year we had this almost same situation with Freddie Peralta, where we could have pulled him going into that 5th inning, but they did not. They left him in there, and Milwaukee lost, and the season was over. So they went with a different approach this year. They take Freddie Peralta out after 4 innings, and they bring in Yoel Payamps. Okay? Yoel Payamps, the first out recorded is a robbed home run by Jackson Chourio. And then Chourio misjudged the next ball that was hit his direction. It was a line drive, and it went over his head for a double. Payamps collected the next out, recorded the next out, so there were 2 outs and a guy on in that 5th inning. All looked fine, and then everything that could have went wrong essentially went wrong in that 5th inning. So as I said, there was the fly out to Chourio, the double to left off of the misplayed line drive from Chourio, and then Alvarez lined out to left, and then a walk, a single on a ground ball to first, in which Yoel Payamps did not get off the mound to go cover the bag. Had he had a little bit of a pep in his step to go and cover the bag like he's supposed to and has done his entire life, then Milwaukee records that out and they get out of the inning. But no, that's not how things work in Milwaukee baseball. No, the things that you have done your entire life and have done right all year, no, you don't do that. You don't go cover first. Don't do that. Of course, that's sarcasm. He didn't do that. He didn't record the out at first base. The inning continues, and so shall we. Then a pitching change right after that. Aaron Ashby comes in, which a lot of people say that Ashby should not be selected to come into a game, and that it should be either Jared Koenig or whatnot. Which there's, of course, you can argue either way. I'm fine with it. I don't think it should have killed that Ashby came in. He has been very, very, very good against lefties, and he needed to get one out, and he was facing a left-handed hitter at the plate in Brandon Nimmo. Well, Brandon Nimmo singled on a ground ball to Willy Adames, who we've talked about how great his defense has been all year. No, he's actually been bad. But another infield single is what it took. And then Vientos singles to right, and then a wild pitch. So then they intentionally walk Alonso, then a single from J.D. Martinez, then a walk from Starling Marte, and then Tyrone Taylor ends the inning by flying out. So that was that fifth inning that people are so frustrated about, myself included. I felt comfortable after there were 2 outs and a guy on. I went and I took a shower. And then the time that I came back, they were down by 2 runs. And then I got to see J.D. Martinez hit that single on a right to bring in another 2 runs. So what a switch of emotion for me, where all of those things happen in such a short span. Is it Pat Murphy's fault that the team could not execute anything defensively that inning? That Jackson Chourio could not catch a fly ball to left? That Willy Adames can't field a ground ball to short? That Yoel Payamps doesn't know that he should cover first base when a ground ball is hit to first base? Is that Pat Murphy's fault? It's sorry, I'm very heated up, but this is like all these people saying it's so stupid that he pulled him. That's not the reason that the Brewers lost, is that Freddie Peralta was pulled. He went 4 innings. He gave up 3 runs. He did not pitch well. I don't care if he was on a run after that. You waited until you got a lead, you pulled him out, and you went to the spot where you felt most comfortable, and that's your bullpen. And what the team has done right all year is they've been able to play defense, they've been able to use their bullpen effectively, and they've effectively been able to prevent runs. Not the case yesterday. When your season's on the line, you've played 162 of these games the right way. Not 162, but you win 93 of them over a 162 game span. And then the first game where it really starts to matter, all out the window. Nope. The bullpen, the defense, everything implodes in 1 inning, 4 runs. But this team's resilient, right? This team can hit, right? Whenever they're down, it doesn't matter. Just over a week ago, they came back from 8-0, and they went and won. All right. Well, they give up the lead in the top of the 5th. You have 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. You have 5 innings to hit that you can go and make up 4 runs, which you already did in the previous 4 innings. Doable, right? Every single batter that came to the plate for the Milwaukee Brewers after they lost the lead in the top of the 5th was retired. 15 straight batters were retired after the lead was given up, after scoring 4 runs in the first 4 innings. That's Milwaukee Brewers baseball. That's sorry you get my rant. I didn't want to have to come on here and rant about this. I want to be positive and to say, oh, they can go and win these next 2 games, which is true. They can. And maybe the resiliency and being undaunted will allow them to do so. But it's the chances of them winning these next 2 games over the history of this 3-game wild card set, it's not good. I don't think I've ever seen it. Maybe it happened once, but I don't expect it. I wouldn't hold your breath. Just like Arizona last year, which brings me to my next point. The Milwaukee Brewers are the first team to blow 4 straight multi-run leads in the postseason. This Milwaukee Brewers franchise has now lost 10 of their last 11 playoff games. These are numbers I can't even describe how painful this is for Brewers fans. 10 of 11. You have won the division in 21, 23, and now 24. The Milwaukee Brewers have not won a playoff game, a single playoff game since 2021. Part of that is the format. The other part, you've lost 3 straight at home to wild card teams that squeaked in on the last possible day of the regular season. And maybe that's something to be said too. Maybe that's an advantageous position, which it can be, to fight on that last day and to get in, just squeak into the playoffs. You saw with the Brewers in 2018. They had to win a game 163. I don't care. You're put in a position where you're at home. You have won more games. Your pitching is not spent. You have had time to rest and to think about this. This division has been clinched for over a week before the playoffs started. You had everything. You had all this time to line these ducks in a row, and it just falls apart. And it takes 1 inning. And yes, you can all point to that 5th inning when everything all imploded. And yes, that is the reason that they lost, where everything went wrong in that 1 inning. But 15 straight? You can't get a single guy on base? I like I said, I'm sorry for ranting, but this is, if you watch that game, that's and you're a true Brewers fan, that I know that those are the feelings that you're resonating with right now too. 15 straight guys could not get on. Yeah. So that's the whole shebang. Nick Mears came on and actually pitched really good, and then Aaron Civale pitched the last 3 scoreless. And he did his job perfectly. That was great, which means tonight the Milwaukee Brewers will send out there. It will be Frankie Montas to start with the Brewers' backs against the wall. They have to win these next 2 straight before they go and take on the Philadelphia Phillies, who are tops of the National League. So, yeah, backs against the wall. Let's see how undaunted this team really is, because yesterday, after losing that lead, 4 runs, you can make that up too. Like, there are just so many things to be frustrated about. It's that inning and just the lack of intensity with any of these at-bats. These were like bad at-bats that they were stringing together, which, yes, the Mets did pitch really well those last 5 innings of the ball game. But you gotta get on base. You gotta get somebody on. Yeah, okay. So I'll leave my rant where it is there, and I'm gonna forewarn, if we have to come back on tomorrow after another loss, you're probably gonna see a lot of the same energy, and that's just the fandom in me. This is hard to talk about. I'm not blaming Pat Murphy for these losses. You can't. Pat Murphy, I believe, is the reason that they are there. You had such a lack of execution by your players out there on the field yesterday. Those last 5 innings were absolutely disgusting. They were put in the position to succeed. Yoel Payamps was put out there. He had nobody on. He was put in a position to succeed. He had 2 outs and a guy on first. And then just a snowball. And it all started with him. He was in a position, he had a ground ball to first base that he could have went and covered. And he didn't. And, yeah, after that, Ashby is not put in a great spot. But you need to get just 1 out. And then, Willie Adames gets that ground ball to short. Infield single. Like, it is not Murphy's fault. Had it been different and Freddie Peralta went out there, and if Freddie Peralta would have gave up another run in that inning, or even let up a base runner that then came around again to score, the entire conversation was, why did you even put Freddie Peralta out there? I know that's the exact conversation that would be going on right now in between Brewers fandom. I know that's it. If Freddie Peralta would have went out there and gave up another run, why'd you leave him in? He had already given up 3 runs. You had the lead. Why didn't you go to your bullpen? Like, fans get mad. No, I think Pat Murphy, did the right thing. I would have been fine either way. But whatever you decide to do, go with it. And he did. And I like how he goes out and he gives answers as to why he did what he did. And stop blaming Pat Murphy for these players not executing defensively as a unit in that top of the fifth. And is it Pat Murphy's fault that you go 0 for 15 and don't even get a guy on first to give yourself a chance at the end of the game? No. Stop coming after Murphy. This game is not on him. Moving on to the Packers. They are trying to figure out their kicking situation, of course. They have brought in 2 kickers to come and try out for the team. Chad Ryland kicked 64% as a rookie for New England last year, and Lucas Havrasik, who went 75% for the LA Rams. So, of course, Braden Arvison, he's missed 4 kicks this year. Had it not been for a penalty in the third game, he would have missed a kick in every single game so far for the Green Bay Packers. And if he would have made one of the 2 kicks that he missed on Sunday, the Packers would be 3-1, and they would have taken down the Minnesota Vikings. So now just looking to find a kicker, and I just find it ironic that it is taking Green Bay longer to go and find a kicker after Mason Crosby left than it was to find a quarterback after Aaron Rodgers left. Just the irony of football. You like that kickers, it sucks that they don't have a kicker right now, but if you would take one of those 2 situations, I think you would take the one that Green Bay's in right now, having the franchise quarterback. Well, tonight, the Brewers will fight to keep their hopes alive here in a win or go home game against the New York Mets. It'll be Frankie Montas on the mound for Milwaukee and Sean Manaea, the lefty, for the Mets. Manaea had struggled in his recent start against Milwaukee, so maybe they can get an upper hand. But boy, would it hurt for them to win tonight and then to go on and lose in Game 3. But regardless, you can't think about that. You got to win one at a time. And they got to go out and they got to win one tonight. 6:38 is the first pitch. Once again, Montas against Manaea. Brewers got to win or this season's over, and you guys are going to hear me complain for 20 minutes again tomorrow. Well, my name is Cody Depius. I want to thank you again for being with us, as this has been another edition of A Little Bit of Cheese, your daily bite-sized Wisconsin sports podcast.